I am sitting here with a legendary entrepreneur based out of the UK, currently residing in Spain. Mr. Alexis Sikorsky has had multiple exits, with his last exit north of $100 million. Please welcome Alexis Sikorsky.
Hi,
Alexis,
Joe.
thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having
In
me.
here, Alexis, I like to start the show off the same way I start with every entrepreneur. And what's your morning routine?
I don't have a morning routine anymore because I have two young kids, so my morning routine is changing diapers and bottles.
Yeah, I remember that. I have four young kids, so I totally get it. What was it before you had the two young ones?
I was not really a routine kind of guy. I had more an evening routine. So get to the office like relatively early, but not crazy early, like 8, 9, and then work the day, back at home at 6, feed the kids, put them to bed, and back in the office at 10. That was my daily routine.
Nice, nice. Well, hey, what when you began your entrepreneurial path, you started at 15 years old. What really drove you at that early of an age to start your entrepreneurial journey?
I thought I was very, very smart. That's something all 15 years old have in common, right? I thought I
Yeah.
knew everything and I was very, very smart. So I say, why not like buy stuff cheap and sell them expensive? Let's do export, import, and become a billionaire.
So you started export import business at 15?
Yep,
Wow, how'd that go?
not good.
Was it
I
failed
was
venture?
I was fucking 15, so yeah, it didn't go well.
I started my first entrepreneurial venture, but man, at 14 as well. And yeah, definitely a failed venture, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it's remember it's a time like before the dot coms, right? It's the 70s, so like the 70s, early 80s, so 80s in that case. So it's before like the internet, it's before like it's another time.
Gotcha. Now, growing new access from your basement in Switzerland, what personal fears or doubts kept you up at night when you started that first company, New Access?
Firing people.
Really?
That's the only, honestly, I was more scared to have to fire people than to lose my money.
What is it about firing people that really scared you?
Makes me physically sick every time I have to do it. Like literally physically sick. I hate doing that. And like literally my brother, I was working with my brother at some point. He literally went to the hospital. We had when you had to fire a lot of people. Makes us physically sick.
So, how do you deal with it now?
Same way I dealt with it before, as humanly as possible. And when someone has to go, it has to go. And I managed to, at least on an intellectual point of view, justify it by understanding that the work contract, it's a specific contract that actually define the way you can separate. So like you don't betray people. And also I'm older, so I'm less of the it's a family, we kumbaya, we all love each other, and it's more like. But still, like I don't enjoy doing that. I probably will have to do it again soon. And it's also different when you have to fire people because of performance or to fire people for economical reason, right? If it's for performance, it's their fault. If it's for economical reason, it's your fault. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah, firing people, thank God I'm in a company where I have an HR department that deals with that for the most part, but it always gets under my skin because, I live by a motto: coach up or coach out, and you continue to coach them. If you can't coach them up, you have no choice but to coach them out.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's basically you have a responsibility, right? You choose them and you made a mistake. So, yeah.
So when you've navigated some massive growth through various acquisitions and various crises, what was your toughest low before knowing that you were actually on the right path to success?
Um, okay, just give you a little of background, super quick to answer your question. 2000, we started the company, bespoke internet development company. 2003, we acquired electronic document management software company for banks. Grow that from 2003, 2008. 2008, we are a 10, 12 million revenue company, 2.5, 3 million profit, and I'm the king of the world. I'm so smart. I'm so bright. Really convinced I know everything, every money, every penny we make, we spend, we hire more people, we open more offices, we develop the product more. And then 2008.
Boom.
We are a banking software company. 100% of our clients are banks. And on a regular Monday morning, the clients are calling me and say, by the way, for the next 2, 3 years, we're not buying anything from you. Revenue dropped 75% on like literally in a day. And that's when I realized that was really, really not that smart. Um, and I didn't forget your question. And I had to grind from 2008 to 2014, like literally to the point, like I mortgaged my house, like every month you said like, are we throwing good money at bad money? Is it really worth going on? And 2014 we were just kind of break even, and then the private equity came by 77% of the company. And to answer your question, is the moment the private equity money reached my bank account, that's where I knew, not one day before.
You took a lot of risk. How did you deal with the 2008 crash? Like, I didn't even think about European companies, how it impacted them. I've been in mortgage for 20 years, so I went through the ups and downs, and I had to pivot my mortgage path in the
Yeah.
crash. But I didn't think about European software storage companies, or I didn't think about all the other. Obviously, the whole world was impacted, but you only kind of think within the confines of what companies were impacted here in the United States. But I mean, you were obviously impacted in Europe I mean, it wiped you out, and you weren't even in the mortgage banking or mortgage brokering world. You were just providing the technology for them. So how did you really navigate that?
Firing 3/4 of the company, reducing cost as much as possible, begging the client to at least not cancel what they were paying, and try to find smart way to open new lines of profit that are kind of counter cyclical. Like the crisis brought new challenges for banks. So they were not spending on everything related to growth, but they started spending on stuff that are more crisis related. If you think like um, bank stability, know your customer, all that stuff, compliance in general. And yeah, try to develop new stuff that the bank were actually buying. That's how we grew back from, like, I don't know, we were 12 million in 2007, 3 million in 2008, and back to 12 million in 2014, 15.
Some big jumps. That's amazing. So you've said you left $50 million on the table because you didn't understand PE, private equity. How did that realization shift how you now define success?
Well, 50 million in 5 years, that's what I said. That's the cost of my mistakes in general. Not only PE. To be honest, the PE who acquired my company have been fantastically honest and have been incredibly lucky, because with the knowledge I had, they could have like bled me dry, and they decided not to do it. So I got lucky. Um, and now I know private equity. I actually speak private equity, which is very, very important. There's lots of stuff. So private equity is a very uncomplicated business. It's very similar to real estate that we'll talk to you. It's a leverage business. That's all it is, right? It's you get a mortgage, you leverage your investment, you buy a building, you the building takes 10%, you resell the building, you double your investment, right? Basically, that's real estate. Private equity is same kind of thing. It's a leverage business. So when you understand that, all the jargon they put around that they use to make you feel stupid and make you think you don't understand, it's actually pretty simple. And more than that, you have to understand what they want. And that's the absolute key. Now, when I help my clients selling, it's like we talk private equity, and it actually helps the client and it also helps the private equity.
On that note, can you give me a 1 minute explanation or crash course on private equity?
Yeah, very simple. Let's say you want to buy a company. Keep very, very simple number. Fine. On average, you pay 10 times EBITDA, 10 times profit. So you want to buy a company that make 1 million profit, your private equity, so you're going to pay the company 10 million. You put 3 million of your cash, you borrow 7 million from the bank. You keep the company for 7 years, and during these 7 years, you just pay back the bank with the million of EBITDA you have. Right? Everything being equal, you didn't generate a penny of growth. You just keep the company exactly the same. You basically didn't do anything. So now your bank loan is paid, you resell the company for the exact same price, which is 10 million, and then your 3 million have tripled. Fair
Wow.
enough, it's a leverage business. You reimburse the debt with the company's EBITDA, and the genius part is the debt is on the company, not on you. So you have zero risk in terms of debt. The risk is in the company you bought, and that's it. So your capital risk is 3 million, and your risk is that your 3 million. And obviously that's not the game. The game is to grow the company. And for example, the total cash my private equity put in the company is around 17, I would say. Total cash with the initial buy-in, the earnout, and the subsequent M&A, 17 million, and they sold north of 100.
500 or 100? Oh,
No,
they,
there's north of 100. So
yes.
they
Wow.
they they made time six, and I made a lot of money, and everybody's happy.
A lot of people don't know PE. I didn't even know that PE works like that. I didn't know it was a total leverage business myself. I didn't know that they're just taking bank loans. It's basically like buying a house, but you're buying a business.
It's exactly like buying a house, except your leverage is a little lower. You get like 70% leverage, not 90. And it's a little higher risk, but it's way, way better rewards.
Way better rewards. I mean, the payouts are insane as long as you're calculated on the risk that you're taking for the company. And you study your leadership, etc.
Yeah, and that's why at some point, you think 2016, 2017, the valuation the PE were ready to pay were completely crazy. They were massively overpaying, and it's calmed down a little bit now.
Now, now you're building a roadmap, your Apex method, and it came after your own exit experience. When did you realize your story could actually guide so many other entrepreneurs?
It's a process, right? I sold my company 2019, 2020, retired, did nothing for 3 years, starting to get a little bit bored and start an executive MBA in Oxford University here in London. During my MBA, I started meeting entrepreneurs. And they were telling me their story. I'm like, fuck, they're doing the exact same mistakes I've been doing my whole life. So let's see if I can like give them a hand, like just like tell them, no, no, that's stupid. Don't do that. Like have a war chest. Stop confusing what's urgent with what's important. Like basic concept. And then I started actually building that because when you don't take money, people don't listen to you. And started to work pretty well. And after a while, say, well, you know what? Like, okay, I'm going to be able to help 10 entrepreneurs, but if I write a book, it's going to be more. So that's why I wrote the book pretty much.
So the book is called The Apex Method?
It's called Catching Out.
Cashing out. Okay. Where can we find that? And is it on Audible?
Yeah, it's on Audible, it's on Amazon, it's everywhere you find. I'm lucky enough that I have a complicated name, so if you search everything, will my name will either find a helicopter or my book. So
A
don't buy
helicopter.
the don't buy the helicopter.
um, and what is your Apex method?
Listen, it's a method because it's nice to have a method in a book. But basically, it's four concepts, right? First, you analyze your company. Like you talk with entrepreneur all the time. You are amazed by how little they know about their own company. Like they don't know what they have. And I'm talking like I do not talk with startups. That's not my business. I do not talk with solo entrepreneurs or with $1 million company. So I talk to like minimum 5 million revenue companies, and they don't know anything. They don't know, they don't have the proper numbers, they don't know their clients, they don't know what makes them unique, they don't have a plan. And especially the most important, they don't know where they're going. Lots of them have massive engines and no steering wheel. Like, where are you going? What are you doing? When are you selling the company? Are you selling the company? Is it a lifestyle business? Is it a growth business? Do you want to leave this company to your kids or do you want to sell it? Do you want to make 1 million per year to finance your lifestyle in the company, or do you want to make a quarter million and all the rest is growth? All these questions, like very basic, they don't know. The reason they don't know is they're grinding and they spend way more time in the company that they spend on the company. And that's one of the things I bring to these people. So analyze basically 2, 3 months, understand your company. Then from that, you have a plan. So let's say your company is now making 10 million, 2 million at EBITDA, it's worth 20 in 4 years max. I don't work plans that are more than 4 years. In 4 years, we go to get to 100 million valuation, which is basically we have to multiply your EBITDA by 5. What's the path to do that? Where is the growth? Is it M&A? Is it organic? Is it new product, etc.? And how do we organize that? So that's going to take another like 6, 9 months, depending. After that, I'm going to leave you alone. I'm going to let you execute your plan. We're going to touch base from time to time, like once a month, to be sure that your execution. I usually end up being in the board meeting, so I can follow on a monthly basis that we are on the plan. So that's the execute part, and then 2 years, 3 years, max 4 years later, we exit the company.
Wow. How many of those, with using that methodology, how many use cases do you have?
At the moment, I have 3, but none of them have exited yet. It's a brand new project for me, so it takes 2, 3 years. I have one that's very close.
Now you retired for 3 years. Someone like yourself, a super high achiever, like what did you do to fill your time?
Travel, midlife crisis, new country, new wife, new kids, new hobbies, golf, scuba diving, and making kids, basically.
Nice. Um, so some of your favorite hobbies is golfing, scuba diving.
Yeah, and I'm really, really pathetic at golfing, so
We're
I've
all
been
at golfing.
it's terrible. It's the worst sport in the world. So I've been doing that for 20 years and not get any better.
Pick up pickleball, you'll see rapid improvement. um, now, writing Cash Out meant distilling complex lessons. What personal experience did you wrestle with most when you were writing that book?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? Not sure I understand you.
What are the personal experiences that you really had it like that really impacted you the most when you wrote the book Cash Out?
Um, 2008 crisis is a big one.
Okay.
Um, Having to fire half of my company the same day twice. So Switzerland has a strange law that if you fire more than 10% of the company, you have to do it in a certain fashion. And the fashion is you have to tell your whole staff that you're going to fire X employees and you have to give them 3 weeks and you're not allowed to tell them who you're firing. So basically, you tell them, I'm going to fire half the company in 3 weeks, but I cannot tell you if you are in the list or not. And then on the actual day, you send people in a conference room and tell them you're out. And I
Wow.
had to do that twice, and that's hard.
That sounds hard. Um, now you're just you're an advisor, you're a board member. Um, what internal hurdles do you find with founders what internal hurdles do you find founders usually face that mirrors ones that you overcame? I know you mentioned that you like to teach them. What are some like ones that you could think of off the top of your head that the founders usually deal with?
Okay. In order. First one, no plan. They don't know who they want to be personally, not the company. They don't know if they want to exit. They don't know if they want to grow the company. They don't know any of that. That's number one. Number two, they tend to confuse what's urgent with what's important. So, like, that's super, super common. I'm yet to meet a founder who didn't have this problem. You spend your time extinguishing fires instead of doing strategy. It's completely normal, and there is a methodology to get out of that. Then, war chest. I'm a war chest Nazi. The first thing I make with my client is I want 9 months of your monthly burn rate in your bank account because 2008 will happen again. It's not the question if, it's the only question is when, so you need to be prepared. Um, and
Nine
then you
months
get
isn't enough for a war chest for 2008.
no, nothing was enough for 2008, but I could have not mortgage my house if I had 9 months of burn rate. So in 9 months, you can fire a lot of people and reduce your cost considerably and not completely exhaust your war chest. So you can shrink down a company pretty efficiently in 9 months. I'm not saying like, oh, we're not going to do anything and we're not going to live on our war chest. It's just a question of how reactive could you be. So yeah, you have to scale down. Scaling down is a skill. Is very very hard. It's way harder than scaling up. And yeah, so the war chest is one, and then is the one I'm helping the most to solve now is needing good people, not being able to afford good people. That's a that's that's the one that's gonna actually that keeps most companies in the 10 million range. It's a very hard one to overstep. It's a hard one to solve when you really need like you need a proper CFO, but you cannot afford a proper CFO.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's hard to get top talent when they're already pretty happy wherever they are.
Yeah, so the way I did it is I have 12 people in my virtual C-suite in my company, which are people that I've been working with for decades that are either retired, which is a very good pool of people, like just retired and still very skillful, or that are in a job that are bored and will be able to work at night. I have lots of stuff like that. So the reason they do it is because they find it fun. They don't need the money, but they find it fun. It's fun to help a company at that stage. So yes, these people are hard to find, and to my knowledge, nobody does fractional C level people except for CFO. Lots of people pretend they do fractional CFO. Lots of them actually do bona fide accountants, but like fractional CFO, you find and what we need at that point, and that's tricky, is we need to send people who actually work together, and that's tricky. That's a skill as well.
Now, what belief about yourself or leadership in general did you have to really unlearn or purge from your mind to scale from founder to strategic advisor?
I had to understand I'm not a manager. So that's the one thing nobody teach you is people confuse manager and leaders. And not only they are not the same, but they kind of opposite skills. Very rarely do you meet somebody who's a leader and a manager. And that's one of the main realization I had to have, which I had way after I sold my company. I said, why was I so bad at that stuff? And it's because it's not my skill set. I don't know how to manage. I know
Yeah,
how to lead.
I'm a terrible manager. Like
Yeah,
whenever anyone, I can't even manage one person.
yeah,
It's
yeah. But when you know that, then you work on your skill and you hire people
yeah,
who do
they have
what
to
you
report
cannot
to
do
somebody. Not only that, but people like me and you, we could probably easily be taken advantage of just because we can't manage them. So they
all
could
the
just
time.
whatever,
All the
you know,
time.
like
But if you're a good leader, the people who work for you do not want to take advantage of you.
yeah,
That's one of like how you know you're a good leader.
yeah, because you serve.
Yeah.
Now, how is your definition of freedom changed from your early hustle days to now you're helping others exit on their own terms?
Freedom is a number, right? In that universe. Freedom is how much money do you need in your bank account to never have to work a single day in your life if you don't want to. That's freedom. Freedom is being sure like your kids will have a roof on their head and you will be able to give them a good education and your wife can have a nice car and you can have two nice houses. That's freedom. I'm not being political. That's like in our universe, that's freedom. It's what's and one of like when I do client prospect interviews, that's one of the 4 or 5 question I always ask. What's your number? What number do you think you need to be free? And that's my target for selling the company, minimum target.
Yeah, but once you're free, then what? Founders always ask themselves, then what? You had that then what moment.
Yeah, boo fucking who. You know what I mean? Like poor rich boy. Now you have 40 million in your bank account and you're a little bit bored. Like get over it. Lots of people don't get that and most people are struggling. So just leave me alone and go see a shrink you can afford.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, a couple last questions. Now, if you were to tell your younger self, your 15-year-old Alexis, could hear your story now, what would you be most proud of, and what wisdom would you offer that 15-year-old Alexis?
What I'd be the most proud of is the work I'm doing now, actually. It's pride comes from helping others, not from your own success. Everybody can be successful. I'm more proud of my book than of my exit. I'm more proud of the work I'm doing with my founder than of my exit. And wisdom, it's it just always sound like supermarket wisdom, but like just know what you don't know. Like know what you're good at, know what you're bad at, and have a plan. Try to have a plan.
Now, I have a question about family because you got 4 kids, I got 4 kids, and you grew up, not very wealthy. You definitely didn't grow up as wealthy as your kids. How are you instilling that same level of grit, mindset, hustle in your children now as a father so that they could kind of emulate you? How are you teaching them that?
I'm not. I'm failing miserably on that point. I don't know how to do that. I literally don't know how to do that. I don't know how to explain to a kid that's been brought to school in a Bentley with a driver that you need to grind. I don't know. When you try, they laugh at me. My only chance is telling them I'm still alive. You'll need to deal yourself on the time before I die. And so far it seems to be working. The older one is just finished his masters in quant in at Georgia Tech. So he's doing good. The young one is in a hospitality school in Switzerland. So it's working. They're doing stuff with their life, but if you tell them life is going to be hard for you, they laugh. They know they're smart. It's not working. And the little ones are too young, so like I'll be very, very old when this problem arises. So be my wife's problem.
Yeah. I mean, it's a struggle, you know, like we grew up not very wealthy, right? And we had to really fight for success, and then teaching kids how to be successful when they're brought up in an affluent world is not easy.
What I'm trying to do is, I know trying to tell them you're not going to have any money is not going to fly. So I'm trying to tell them that with money comes responsibility. So I'm Jewish, and for us Jews, there is a terrible, terrible rule that we have to give 10% of everything we make to charity. And I teach them that. I teach them like you you can be rich, you're not allowed to be an asshole. You're never allowed to be an asshole. So you don't go in restaurant and pay $1,000 for a bottle of wine. We don't do that. And that also they saw this example. I'm not at all a flashy person. I'm not at all like I don't wear $100,000 watches, and like I tell them, try to teach them that like with money comes responsibility.
Good lessons. Now, a couple last questions about goals. What's a personal goal you have for yourself, a family goal that you have for the family, and a business goal that you have for your firm now?
So personal goal, that's a little bit personal, but I've been officially diagnosed with ADHD, like most founders, I think.
Yeah,
And my
I
personal,
mean, congrats. You know, we're all
yeah,
got
but
diagnosed with that.
it's starting to get annoying, and it's all especially starting to get annoying for my family and for my friends because like I don't have time, I don't listen, I have 500 stuff in my head, I exhaust everyone around me. So my personal goal is to tackle that, which is going
Let
to
me know
take
what
a
you're
minute.
doing. You know, your first wife probably hated you for that, as did mine. So
Well,
hopefully,
my first wife hated me in general, so that was just one of the issues. Um, for my family, my 3 years old daughter has ASD, so it's bringing her to a world that's comfortable for her. And professional goal, I don't care. I want to have a few nice exits and meet nice founders and help them. I don't have like a set number of money or I don't always do what I teach.
and last question: when you're in front of the pearly gates of God, what do you think He's going to tell you?
Uh, it's too soon. Go back.
Alexis, you've been a pleasure to have on the show. Thank you so much for joining today. You
Thank you
know,
for having me.
amazing. I look forward to chatting with you more. I hope you come back on again. If people want to connect with you, how do they find you?
Just look for me on LinkedIn. I have a easy name to find on LinkedIn.
Alexis Sikorsky. We'll leave the information in the show notes. Thank you so much for jumping on the show today. Guys, if you're not following Alexis, make sure you follow him. He's a brilliant leader. He's a brilliant founder, and he's going to guide many, many founders to financial freedom. God bless you. Thank you guys for joining.